Assalamu alaikum. Artificial intelligence is difficult enough to understand from a professional perspective, in a sense that how will artificial intelligence affect our lives, our businesses, our work, our professions? But its complexity is even greater when you add in the religious and philosophical perspectives, and more so the parenting and educational perspectives to artificial intelligence. So, what do we as Muslims believe? How do we see this concept of artificial intelligence? Is there going to be an artificial intelligence that suddenly comes alive or is going to match human intellect and maybe supersede human intellect? Now, I've clarified all of that in the following presentation, which I did at the Ulama Development Forum, and I hope it's going to be useful in unraveling some of the mysteries that surround AI and clarifying some of the hype that has been put out about AI from an Islamic perspective, but also from a technological, professional, parenting, educational perspective. I hope you enjoy it.
Jazakallah, Maulana. And Jazakallah for inviting me to speak here about artificial intelligence. And it's really an honor here, and I see this quite a turnout, mashallah. Some of the names I recognize, but the others, I guess, we'll get to know each other in the course of this conversation. Um, so let's get started without any delay because I feel I have more slides than time. And there's a lot to talk about here relating to this topic. And I'm going to try and cram everything into the one session. First and foremost, just an introduction to myself above and beyond what Maulana Fahim already mentioned, um, which is that I am I'm a software engineer by profession, but at the same time, my focus in the past few years has been not so much on developing software, but on developing people. Because in this age of technology, artificial intelligence, there's a lot of concern, there's a lot of uncertainty about what the future is going to be like. And when it comes to our kids, especially, and I've got three sons, all grown up now, but I had all the challenges that many of you who have young children, who have young grandchildren, are facing. And so there's that. There's one is our safety in the age of technology, but on the other hand is how do we use this technology to for our benefit, to earn an income, to learn, to expand our horizons. So there's really a balance between these two aspects here. Personally, I'm not a protagonist of technology and I'm not against it, but I find myself in a world where it's dominated by this technology. So the natural question is, what is the most pragmatic approach here? And the answer is two things: avoid the worst and take the best. And so that's why I started my school. Since 2010, I started in Lens, and we've been running it since then. And the whole idea is to get people into careers with technology, to show people that this is what you can do with technology potentially. So Alhamdulillah, it's quite an exciting place to be in. Now, I just wanted to speak with regard to our mindset and approach. I wanted to set the tone before getting into my actual presentation, which is this: there is no place for idealism as far as tech is concerned. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is I heard a talk recently, and the alim, the learned person, he was saying that this progress of technology is dangerous and it's going to swallow us up and it needs to stop. So immediately my mind went to how on earth, Maulvi Saab, are you going to stop this progress of technology? This progress of technology is an unstoppable force. Are you thinking in terms of idealism? Yes, ideally, so nice to go back to the age when there wasn't this technology and there weren't these challenges associated with it. But really, is that realistic thinking or is that idealistic thinking? Now, as far as we are concerned as individuals, For me, nothing will be better than to live a simple life on a farm somewhere, and to go back to our roots. But we have to look at the community, and that's the crucial part. We've been given this responsibility of the community, and we have to look at what is best for them. What kind of guidance can we give them as far as technology goes, as far as artificial intelligence goes, as far as social media goes. So it's not just about us, and we have to have a view on our community, starting with our little micro communities at home, our children, and the greater community. Many of us are probably associated with schools also. Some of us are imams, and this is important for us. Okay, let's dive into it. What exactly is artificial intelligence? Now, first and foremost, I want to tell you something that might surprise you. There is no such thing as artificial intelligence. It's just a very clever marketing name for the concept. What it really is simulated intelligence. So we have computers that are simulating human intelligence, but they are not truly intelligent. Because as much as we might be told that these computers are learning and they are doing their own thing and they are intelligent, they're not really. They are just a simulation of human intelligence. Now, human intelligence, this is a very philosophical topic. Maybe Maulana Fahim can organize somebody to speak about the deep philosophy. True intelligence comes from consciousness, and consciousness is from Allah Ta'ala. So if I told you at this moment, close your eyes and imagine the room you are sitting in, then imagine your house, the property you are in, your village, the planet, the solar system. Immediately you find that your mind is just expanding, expanding, expanding. And then when I say, okay, come back to where you are, your mind comes back. If I tell you to imagine something, imagine a hilltop, and there's a white horse there, and there's a man in a turban riding that white horse. Immediately your mind is already picturing that. And the more you try not to picture it, the more you will picture it. So that is our imagination. That is one of the aspects of our intelligence. Now, computers don't have that capacity. They don't have that capacity. And ultimately, what Allah Ta'ala describes as intelligence in the Quran is something completely different to just being able to crunch numbers and to come up with some interesting articles like today's artificial intelligence goes. So in reality, as much as we call it artificial intelligence, it's simulated intelligence. It's not true intelligence. Now, what exactly is behind the scenes there? Now, AI, and I'm just going to give you a quick primer on AI, because this will lay down some usuli aspects, some foundational aspects of the conversation to come. So artificial intelligence is basically computer code, algorithms, logic, linguistics, in the case of large language models, and then data and computing power. Now, I'm gonna park the discussion around the first three that are in black, and I just want to go to the two green terms, data and computing power. You see, strictly speaking, the concept of artificial intelligence is nothing new. It's been around since the 1950s. But in the 1950s, as much as the concept was around and the know-how was around, what was severely lacking is data and computing power. You know, there were computers in our pockets. Today, we have computers that are more powerful than the computers that sent people to the moon. So it was a major, a serious obstacle to AI, this lack of computing power. But as computing power grew and exponentially and became more and more, computers became more and more capable, then the dream of AI became more of a reality. The other thing is data. In that zamana, in that time, there wasn't sufficient data. Now, what do I mean by data? I mean data in all its forms, textual, visual, uh, or audible data, all any kind of data that we could get hold our hands on would be used in the future for artificial intelligence. Now, why? The reason is because in order to train AI, we need lots and lots of data. We need millions of gigabytes of data. And so in that zamana, the data wasn't existing. Today, thanks to the internet, that data is readily available and being created all the time. So this is the right moment for artificial intelligence. So on one hand, we got the massive influx of data coming in, and on the other hand, we got the massive computing power that is able to crunch that data and learn from that data. Right. Now, I'm going to come back to, as I said, to algorithms, logic, and linguistics under the history of AI. So I've already given you some of the background of AI, which is that it has been around since the 1950s. But really, the whole concept, the foundational aspects of AI actually came from much, much uh, earlier than the 1950s. Now, the person who laid down the concept of algorithms, modern algorithms, was Muhammad ibn Musa al-Kharizmi. He was a he was a Muslim scientist who not only invented the concept of algorithms but also the concept of algebra. As you probably know, the word algebra comes from the name of his kitab, Al-Jabr wal-Muqabala, which was a book on algebra, foundational, uh, the most foundational book on algebra. That is the principles in which are still in use today. And the word algorithm comes from his what we call in English is his surname, but it's actually his nisbat to the place he came from, Al-Kharizmi. In the Latin languages, they couldn't pronounce the kh, so they made it into g. So you got algorithmi, and then they dropped off the trailing I, so it became algorithm. So Muhammad ibn Musa al-Kharizmi is the person who is attributed to inventing all the algorithms, well, the concept of algorithms. And today, every single computer, whether it's a computer on your desk or in your phone or in your microwave oven or in the airplane or wherever, these all run on algorithms. They cannot run without algorithms. They are just dummy machines without algorithms. In fact, Al-Kharizmi, they say he is the one that introduced the zero into our modern mathematics. I haven't been able to really get into this, find uh, any deep research on it. But they say that the Hindus invented zero, but he just brought it into the modern numbering system. So, and it's interesting that it was a Muslim that laid down the foundations for today's computing. Then another very big important aspect of AI is propositional logic, and the foundations for modern logic came from the Muslims, again from people like Al-Farabi. And then another very important aspect, especially with regard to large language models, I'll talk about that shortly. The large language model type of artificial intelligence came from linguistics. And that came from people like Abdul Qahir al-Jurjani, who laid down the foundation for modern linguistics. Now, when I speak about linguistics, it includes all aspects of linguistics, including Nahu, Sarf, Balagha, etc. But al-Jurjani's study of language was actually a bit different from those that preceded him. He looked for an understanding into what made language into language, what made language something that is meaningful. When you look at an ayat of the Quran, or if you look at a poem, what made that poem more beautiful than ordinary prose? So if we say the girl was beautiful, versus you're saying her eyes were like deep pools of water, and you could swim in that pool. Now, why is the second one a lot more impactful? Why is it that the Quran ayat are so impactful? what made them the people of Makkah, uh, what made them almost swoon when they heard some of the ayat of the Quran being recited. So he went into trying to understand the meaning behind language, and that proved very, very important in artificial intelligence, because in designing AI, especially large language models like ChatGPT, they had to they had to uh, they had to bring in these rules that will guide the AI. So the AI needed to know that saying the boy climbed the tree is different from tree climbed boy. It's completely different. You're changing the entire meaning. Uh, Although it's the same words, so the AI needed to understand that. So if you look at these three very, very foundational aspects of AI, these came from the Muslim world. Now, what is the impact of AI? That is something we all are very aware of. We see it all around us. No matter where you look, AI is everywhere, literally everywhere. You are sitting at home, there's AI somewhere. It's in your microwave oven, it's in your air conditioning, it's in your car. When you're in a plane, uh, pilot puts it on autopilot. Guess who's piloting that plane? It's AI. It's in our banks, transportation, and business. This is a big thing. Part of what I do is I speak at companies. In fact, inshallah, in August, I'm in Nairobi. I'll be speaking about digital transformation to the corporate sector over there. 2 week time, I'm in Johannesburg. It's the same. It's about how AI is transforming businesses. Education, again, very, very big. I'm not getting into each one in detail because this is a whole or 1.5 to 2 hour discussion in itself. Education, very, very big. I'll just give you some of what we are doing with AI in my school, because it's something that is adaptable into different types of education. So we are basically using AI on a number of levels, but the one that I'm particularly excited about is monitoring student progress. So we are building an AI called Caitlin, and it's actually an acronym. Us IT people love our acronyms. It's called Kylix AI Tool for Learning Enhancement. Kylix is the name of my company, the legal name of my company. So Caitlin's job will be to monitor every student's progress and to alert us when a student is not progressing, or if a student's progress slows down, and to offer any assistance. It's actually a very clever AI we're building. Uh, its other role is to offer customized learning pathways. So let's take a subject like mathematics, since that we've all been exposed to it at some level. When you are studying maths, right? Obviously, when a person is in grade 8 maths, then a lot of the concepts that you are doing in grade 8, almost all the concepts are built on grade 7 maths, and grade 7 is built on grade 6. So maths is a subject that is where one level is dependent, the next level is dependent on the previous one. So it often happens in school that a child might have missed out or not understood a concept in an earlier grade, and because of the cumulative nature of the subject of mathematics, as he goes down the line, come to grade 9, 10, 11, you find that he's struggling with maths. But it's not that he's struggling with maths, it's that he didn't understand the concept that he's supposed to have done way, 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 way back in grade 6. And so Caitlin's job will be to do a diagnostic. So a student, for example, in advanced software engineering lecture is not understanding the concepts. So Caitlin will be able to pick up that and then identify where the students' gaps in understanding and knowledge are, and sort of design a learning pathway for that student so he can go back, cover those important foundational concepts, and then catch up with the rest of the class. Um, Entertainment industry, I had to bring that in because this is one of the big challenges for us as ulama. For me, it's a very personal thing. where it comes to entertainment via social media, via series, Netflix, for the simple reason that I see people spending so much of time on this, so much of time. I was speaking to one youngster who said that at any given time he spends about 5 hours on just scrolling through short form videos. So that's all controlled by AI. Security and surveillance. I mean, facial recognition cameras are everywhere nowadays. Agriculture. This is huge. Agri-tech is huge. I'm actually meeting a company in Johannesburg soon that is putting health monitoring AI devices on cattle. And so you're driving in the Midlands, you got these cattle there, and so these devices are actually monitoring the health of these dairy cattle, because from what I know, dairy cattle are very temperamental creatures, and if they get slightly stressed, then their milk yield drops. So using AI, these farmers are overcoming those issues. So these are some of the places that AI is making a huge impact. If you want to know more about any one of these, please feel free to reach out. And also, by the way, I do speak at schools. So if you want to invite me to speak at your school about careers and about AI, social media, just let me know. I don't charge a cent for school. Maybe if you're far away, I'll ask you to cover my travel expenses. But generally, I don't charge at schools. It's my pleasure actually when I go and speak to young people, and I open their eyes around what kind of career options are out there. Because traditionally, when I tell you, okay, career choice, first thing we'll think of is what our grandmothers used to tell us: doctor, lawyer, teacher, and I don't know maybe one or two other things. But today it's different. So we need our kids to open their minds to all that. Okay, the fake impact of AI. This is clarifying some of the huge misconceptions created, not surprisingly, by Western media, right? So media versus reality. These are some of the buzzwords around AI. So you get people like Ray Kurzweil saying that AI will become sentient soon enough. Sentient means it will become conscious, and it will be almost alive, like in the science fiction movies and science fiction books. Or they say that AI will surpass human intelligence. Again, AI is not intelligence. It's just a simulation. It's just algorithms running behind the scenes that just do certain tasks that we ask them to do. Yes, they are super complex. I'm not taking anything away, but they are nothing like human intelligence. If you think that, if anybody says that uh, AI intelligence is comparable to human intelligence, they don't really understand human intelligence. And a good example of this, and I'll come back to that a little later, is Charles Darwin, right? Charles Darwin is falling out of favor with scientists, with modern scientists, because they say that his theory of evolution was based on a very, very rudimentary knowledge of biology. And what we understand today about biology is so much more complex than Darwin even understood, that there is no way that his theory holds up today. But I'll come back to that. So AI will not surpass human intelligence because it is not intelligence. AI will take over the world. Oh, the media loves this. They love talking about how AI is going to take over all jobs, and AI is going to take over the militaries. And people fall for this. People fall for this because they love drama. The one thing I learned about social media is you put out an intelligent article or an intelligent piece of content that really is beneficial to people, and they are not interested in that. But some clown puts out something that is full of drama, full of emotion, and people take interest in that. So we are not dealing with a very high level of human intelligence online anymore. The other thing is the singularity. This is another famous favorite topic of Ray Kurzweil. Look him up. He's a so-called AI guru. When he talks, then the media go wild. So he says that a singularity is coming. The singularity is what he refers to as the merger of AI and humanity. So basically, it takes different forms. So one is that we're coming to a time when human consciousness will be able to be implanted into a computer, or vice versa, that we will soon be able to bring AI into the human mind, or that humans and robots will become coexisting species. Nonsense. So all of this is absolute nonsense. So let's give them all a cross here. Absolute nonsense. None of this is even remotely possible. Right, and I'll explain to you why. This is not just my feeling and my thought. This is I'll back it up with logical reasoning. Right. So what is the reasoning? The reasoning is this: that with almost every technology that we've ever encountered, we come to this thing called this phenomenon known as the technological plateau. A plateau is after a steep hill, you come to the top of the hill and you see it's flat. Now, when you plot a graph of technological progress over the past 100, 150 years, you find that it goes up, 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 and then suddenly there's a plateau. It stops, the progress stops. Let's take a simple example, cars, right? From the early 1900s to now, cars have increased in their technological capability. Let's pick one thing, the speed of a vehicle. Now, maybe the olden days cars, those early Model Ts that Ford Motor Corporation produced, would have traveled at maximum, 40, 50, 60 kilometers per hour. From there, the cars went up, up, up. And today, the pinnacle of auto engineering is the Formula One Grand Prix cars. But even those have reached a limit. You can't make a car that goes 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers per hour because it's against the laws of physics. A car like that would be impossible to even control. So every technology, computing technology is almost at a plateau. It's on a plateau right now. That's why every new iPhone that comes out is just reinventing something that was already invented. I mean, we had some glorious years of innovation, better screens, better processors. Now it's more and more of the same thing. Even those processors, there's only so many microcircuits they can cram into a process. Now it's on a microscopic level, and very soon processing power is going to, it's already reaching a plateau. So that's why they're looking into quantum computing. That's another thing to look at some stage. Any case, continuing. So this technology always reaches its potential, and then it reaches a point where the laws of physics don't allow further progress. And I think before long, we're going to find a similar thing. Technology reaches, and as I was saying, artificial intelligence is extremely greedy on computing power. And at times, there is just not going to be enough computing power in the world to power AI. And so, they're looking at quantum computing, which is a long, long way away. But the media, see, there's something we have to be careful about with the media, and I'll come back more in detail about that. The media loves creating sensation. They love sensationalism. I don't know if you recall, but a few months ago, there was these media reports that some engineer in Google said that one of their computers became sentient. What happened to that? That was supposed to be, as far as the media goes, the biggest news in the history of mankind. But it disappeared very, very quickly. I mean, if you think back you think about cryptocurrency at one stage in the media, now you don't even hear about it. It's all swept under the carpet. Why is this the case? It's simple. When there is something to be gained from putting out something in the media, then they put it out. They make a big thing. Remember, these people who control the share prices and who are investors in companies who own the startups also own the media. So when they want their share prices to go up, they'll make up something in media about it. This is nothing new. from the 1920s and 30s, the rich used to play the stock market like that. They used to just put out fake information that certain companies on the up and up, and then they get the poor and the middle class to invest in that, invest billions of dollars into that, and then suddenly those companies go bust and all those people lose their money. But these people behind the scenes made off with that money and made themselves richer and richer. In fact, they say that President Kennedy's father made himself rich like that. So if you look at the crypto boom and then its subsequent bust, it was exactly that. The media were going all out promoting crypto. Now, I'm not against cryptocurrency again, I'm not against the whole concept of you know, of the blockchain and things like that. I think it's very good technology. I had hope for it, but unfortunately, it looks like there were some forces at play that were less than savory. So some people made a lot of money, and a lot of people lost a lot of money with crypto. But I digress. So let's go to the next rule, right? Now, sorry to be so pretentious as giving a rule my own name, but I couldn't come up with a with an actual rule that has been given a name like this. So I call it Bilal's paradox. Now, what does this mean? It means the more that we attempt to disprove the existence of Allah Ta'ala, the more we find existence of Him. So I think an appropriate ayat to quote here would be فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. Wherever you turn, you're going to find Allah Ta'ala's presence there. You're going to find His existence. Now, why am I bringing this here? It's this, because one of the key ideas, if you really look into the books of AI, books written by people and those who are talking particularly about sentient AI, they have one objective, and that is to prove that we as human beings can create life. We can create something intelligent. So in other words, to prove that we somehow came about by some chance, because if we can create it, that means we also, everything goes up in the air. Now, this is irony, because when you look at scientific progress over the past 150 years, you'll find that pretty much every endeavor in science has hit a roadblock. I'll give you an example. I spoke about Darwin earlier. Why is Darwin now not taken seriously anymore? Well, firstly, modern biology proves that Darwin was wrong, because Darwin's understanding of how creatures functioned was very rudimentary. So he never knew about the existence of cells and organelles within those cells. For him, a cell was just this little brick of jelly that was a building block of life. But today's modern biology will tell you that every cell in our bodies is phenomenal. It is infinitely complex. There are organelles within the cell, meaning the cell itself has organs, and there's chemistry happening inside the cell we can't even understand. So looking at all that, they said, well, considering this, there's no way this could have evolved. There's no such thing that this happened by chance. And what was the last nail in that coffin was when Watson and Crick, two scientists, when they discovered the DNA molecule in our cells. Ya Allah, that DNA molecule, although scientists don't describe it like this, but it is very similar to computer code. So that proved that every single one of us, that child developing in the womb all the way till the time we die, we are nothing more than information. And that child is developing according to an algorithm that was written by a supercomputer programmer who has designed the blueprint for that child, and the child is developing according to that blueprint. I'm using computer terminology here, but we know that it was Allah Ta'ala who created this DNA. Now, Darwin never knew about DNA. He never knew it existed. Today, scientists are telling us that there is no mathematical, statistical possibility that this DNA could have evolved on its own. That DNA is almost the signature of the maker of all living things. It's as if you look at a painting and you see in a corner there the signature. It was the name. Even now they don't accept it. They don't always accept it because modern science is a religion. So I'm just bringing this into perspective because AI, there is a nefarious hidden agenda behind it also when they talk about things like sentient AI. And we need to create awareness in the population, in the ummah, in the community, that this is utter nonsense. Don't worry about this. They'll scare you. They'll say, oh, AI is going to take jobs away. We're going to be without jobs. Nonsense. None of that is happening. Yes, AI is going to take some jobs away. There's no doubt about it. But it's not like they make it sound that human beings are going to be en masse unemployed. Sure, time is moving so fast. Right. Some of the types of AI, machine learning, deep learning, machine learning.
So, Moran, I'm going to disturb you. We got about 10 minutes more, and then inshallah we can round up and then take some questions.
Okay, absolutely. So these are different types of learning: machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, computer vision. When your phone unlocks, when it looks at you, expert systems. When you use Google Maps, that's known as an expert system, a system that's able to do complex calculations and give you guidance. And then robotics, right? So probably the most famous AI currently is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a natural language processor, NLP. So GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Generative means it processes and outputs language. So you speak to ChatGPT, it knows how to talk back to you. Pre-trained means that somebody fed it with data, and they say that ChatGPT was fed with like 60 billion data points. And then it's a transformer, meaning that it understands words, phrases, context. So the word rose, for example, when you say the congregation rose, or when you say I gave her a rose, it has two different meanings. So the transformer can detect what is the context of a word and then understand it there. I wanted to explain a little more about this, but 10 minutes I have to fly through it. This is an example of an AI algorithm that is a maze solver. So you can see it's actually not a lot going on there. I can explain it, but we don't have time. But see how few lines of code. This is all AI is. This is what I'm doing is I'm opening the brain of an AI and I'm showing you what's inside. Not a lot, not a lot, but there's more marketing hype than any real true complexity of this technology. Right. Let's go to the agenda. I spoke about the whole idea of sentient AI. The other thing we need to understand is the philosophy of the West versus Islam, and a lot of this we're seeing in the situation in Gaza right now. The Western Zionist thought versus the rest of the world. It's frustrating when we think about why can't they see it the way we do. But there's a whole philosophy at play here. We have to understand their way of thinking, their twisted way of thinking. So we had modernism, which is, the colonialists, let's put it that way, the white Christian heterosexual males that caused all of these problems, racism and colonialism and all kinds of oppression. And then so around the turn of the 20th century, we got the postmodernism movement, which basically was supposed to be against everything modernism. They were supposed to go against the whole patriarchy, against the man, against religion. So they chucked everything out. They chucked everything. They say we'll just deconstruct everything. So anything that was held uh, uh, sacred or important by the modernists, we are going to undo that. So, for example, they never gave women rights, like we'll invent the feminist movement. They never gave people with alternative sexual preferences rights, right? So we'll start with LGBT movement. So they are basically, and they held religion important, will be anti-religion. So they basically uh, almost went to another extreme and sort of trashed everything modernist. And hand in hand with that is liberalism. So if you want to understand LGBT. It's there. The root of it is there. And unfortunately, it's these people that have control over Silicon Valley. In fact, the founder of OpenAI, the company that made ChatGPT, Sam Altman, is openly gay. So what do you expect, right? There is an agenda, and it's not like our agenda. This is the Muslim philosophy, right? At the top of it, at the heart of our philosophy is our Creator, and then we have a family, neighbors, community, ummah, the environment. We have this responsibility as human beings to all of these layers. But in the West, it's different. It's the sovereign individual. It's all about me, what I feel like, what my preferences are. That's the most important. I don't care about all those people around me, community, environment. That's why we find all this environmental damage and things like that that's going on, because it's all the sovereign me. I teach, when I go to schools, I show them this slide here, that if you look at the first column, we got the Muslim and then the West. Muslim philosophy is this: our morals and values come from our past, from our glorious past, from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahaba, ulama, from our forefathers. But our mind is in the future when it comes to science and tech. So we're standing on two legs here. Morals and values we derive from the past, and our science and technology, we're always future looking. So we need to be at the forefront of technology. But if you look at the West, it's very different. For them, everything is the future. There's nothing in the past. There's nothing. With the postmodernists, don't even look at the past. Anything in the past, from the past, is an anachronism. Oh, a woman wearing a scarf, anachronism. A person talking about the forefathers and the wisdom of the elders, anachronism. The family unit, anachronism. Let's break that down. The father as the head of the family, let's break that down. Look at modern literature, not even modern. If you look at, we teach Shakespeare in school. Shakespeare, let's say Romeo and Juliet. What was the key story behind Romeo and Juliet? Go against what your elders are telling you. That's what Romeo and Juliet did. So we're teaching our children these things. Anyways, let's come to us, the ulama. We need to understand what is our role in society, right? I think for me, I'm 20. Fahim, we graduated in the year 2000, 2024. 24 years later, I'm still answering these questions. I've been imam for 4 years in Albania. I've been teaching at Muslim schools, still struggling with this. What are we? Spiritual guides, educationists, mentors, counselors, politicians? What are we? Really, I'm not really sure, business people. Because when I was imam, one minute I'm teaching, and imam, next thing I'm doing marriage counseling and child counseling and, conflict resolution. It was so we need to define who we are. The second thing is we need to address these important aspects, and I'm going to go through them one by one. And I know many of your questions are going to be relating to these. Sorry for the long introduction, but I think I needed to create a basis for the conversation, and to give you that usuli understanding of AI and where it's coming from and what's the whole objective behind it, before we can get into now the heart of our sentiment and our concerns around AI, because a lot of these questions will be easily answered. So again, when we talk about sentient AI, when we talk about AI that will surpass human intelligence, be very careful. We need to inform the community to be very careful when you talk about that, because that's a matter of aqidat, right? If you're going to say that there's an AI, it's possible an AI can become sentient, na'uzubillah, now your iman is at stake here, right? Because you are saying some dangerous things. AI and propaganda. So if you look at ChatGPT, you ask it questions around the LGBT movement, you'll notice that it's not very much in favor of anything anti-LGBT. It might even lock you out. So there is that propaganda. Just remember that liberal, postmodernist propaganda that's embedded inside there. So on one hand, yes, it's an extremely useful tool that my team uses in business all the time. But on the other hand, be careful what it's telling you. We need to inform the community, not throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? It's a good tool to use, but watch out. there is a hidden snake in there. AI and education, I gave you all examples. I think we need to, especially the schools, Muslim schools, need to educate learners on AI. Because, look, the fact of the matter is, whatever profession they're going to get into, agriculture, retail, wholesale, accounts, they're going to be using AI. So we need to educate our learners using AI, but also how to use AI. AI and fiqh. Okay, I had a discussion with some of the subs around some kind of GPT technology for answering questions, masalas, and things like that. And there is an issue with these large language models, which is that they make mistakes. And when they don't have an answer, then they make up answers. I mean, I caught out ChatGPT many, many times making serious mistakes, factual, historical errors. But unfortunately, there are people who are going to ChatGPT and asking maslas. I'm aware of that. So we need to create that awareness that, hey, look, again, don't, and if you do get one masala from ChatGPT, please verify with an alim first before you actually accept it, right? So will there be some kind of mufti GPT? I don't think so. I don't think so, because right now the AI is not mature and it's full of mistakes. And ironically, since ChatGPT came about in November 2022 till now, its accuracy levels have gone down rather than going up. Ironic, right? Instead of getting cleverer, it's gone stupider. So be careful. Then when it comes to the community, right? Whenever I run these programs, I ran this program in Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town. People these were their concerns, and then I'm going to speak about these, and we'll stop. One is the algorithm culture. We need to create awareness. Today's culture is driven by algorithms. Let me give you an example, right? Somebody puts out some stupid dance on Instagram, for example, and that dance goes viral, and there's a certain music associated with that. Suddenly, everybody in the world is doing the same thing. How did that thing go viral? It went viral because some algorithm determined that this thing should go viral. Something became a part of pop culture. How? Through social media. How? Because the algorithm decided. In the old days, culture was something completely different. Today, it's driven by algorithms. So we need to uh, teach our children to be intelligent about this and to train that algorithm. So I'll give you an example. When I open any social media personally, right? Let's say I open TikTok, I'm only going to get videos about Islam, stories of Muslim people who converted to Islam, business, marketing, technology, artificial intelligence. Why? Because I trained that algorithm. That algorithm attempted to train me, but I trained it, and now it's my slave. It works for me. I don't work for it. I don't. It doesn't show me what it wants to show me. It shows me what I want to see. So if they are going to use it, and look, let's face the reality. You're going to stand on the member till you're red in the face and say, no, don't use this. They're not going to listen. Right, AI and work, people want to know about this. So if in your community, if you're part of a business community, if you want me to come and speak about how AI is transforming business, how we can streamline business with AI, corporates pay me a lot of money for this, this knowledge, but I'll give it to you for free. Religious and moral values. I was talking about that Mufti GPT. We need to be very careful. We need to explain to today's generation that be careful what you're getting out there. This philosophy is not in line with ours. The impact on children's development. Now, you see that youngster I spoke to spends 5 hours at a time on social media, on TikTok, just watching videos. Now, he's not rare. He's the norm these days. I speak to young parents also. Come home from work and the whole family is sitting around on their phones looking at short form videos. We need to create awareness about the development of children. Children are emotionally, what's the word for it? I heard a psychologist talking about it. They're emotionally deprived, right? Online safety, we need to address this. human connection versus AI. Uh, Kids are spending their time on tech, and they don't have that connection anymore. I mean, you go eat day, you go to a family home, you see all the kids sitting around with their phones and chatting with each other. And so one day I asked these kids, if somebody makes a joke, do you all physically laugh or do you all put a laughing emoji? I don't know what y'all's culture is like. So there's a serious lack of human connection. So we need to infiltrate into these young people and sort of get them to get out into the world and form real bonds. And then finally, parental engagement. Unfortunately, there was a time when parents were concerned about children spending too much time on tech. Today, we as ulama need to be concerned that the parents and the children are spending too much of time on tech, because those kids that we taught in maktabs are now parents themselves, and they are what we call digital natives. Okay, what's our action plan? For last slide, Manana, apologies for this, for taking too much time. We need to raise, perhaps we need to have a separate discussion around this. What does race mean? I borrowed this from Yawar Bey. We need to read, learn, update. As much as it scares us, we need to read, we need to learn about this AI. And that's why you are here, right? That's why we are having this. Next, we need to anticipate problems and opportunities for the Ummah. And that's what I do, right? I earn my living through this, uh, more for business than for anything. That's why businesses pay me big bucks to flight and accommodation accepted, I mean covered, to go and tell them what problems they can face and what opportunities. And then we create solutions for the Ummah. And finally, we execute. We jump to action. It's not just about talking. There are forces that are working against us. I wrote a book. It's called Snacks to Riches. It's freely available. Anybody is interested in that, drop me an email. I'll share my contact details. It's a good book for children. Six skills to turn problems into profit. 6 skills to keep ourselves safe in the age of technology, as well as to derive maximum from it. دفع الضرر وجلب المنفعة. جزاك الله.